welcome to the Kelly Roach Show, a place for no fluff, easy to implement, 20-minute or less business and leadership lessons to help you build a sustainable business that scales. Let's get started. One of the most dangerous things that I see happening in the world of business today, particularly in the online marketing space, is people getting caught up in their own busyness. No matter what level a leader is at, it seems that everyone believes that they're too busy. And everyone seems caught up in running 1,000 different directions and taking on too much that they feel like they can't slow down to focus on the really important things. And one of the things that will hold you back in business the most is when you obsess over the wrong things. And some people cushion obsessing over the wrong things in saying that, they want to make the right decision. And some people cushion it in, well, I have to do ABC in order to do D, when really they just need to do D. Some people cushion in their planning, they're preparing, they're getting ready. Lots of people kid themselves by telling themselves a story that they can't focus on the thing that they really need to focus on because of this other thing that they have to do before they can do the actual thing. Make sense? And I had someone at a live event asked me the other day, how do you get so much done in such a short period of time so that you can still do other things, and be with your family and, focus on other things outside of business? And I said, because when I time block my calendar and when I come into the day, there is an exact precision to what I'm going to do. And when I come into that block to do that thing, I do that thing. And I execute with high intent and I get the thing done. And what I see constantly from leaders who are quote unquote struggling to grow, can't get to the finish line each month, can't get to the goal. There's always something, there's always some type of reason why the goal is not being met. They block times and then they move them. They schedule calls and then they move them. They're constantly rearranging their calendar. They're constantly pushing back the most important thing for 100 other things. And so nothing ever changes. Nothing ever changes. And so I want you to do a quick self-evaluation as you're listening to the show today and ask yourself on a daily basis, how well do you do at coming in and one, keeping the commitments that you made to yourself, the time blocks that are you executing, you alone, not you necessarily on a call with other people or on a call with your team or, doing things that involve other people. I'm talking about those time blocks for execution, recruiting, hiring, doing one-on-ones with your team, doing sales activity, recording content, like really high impact things that are going to move the needle, right? If you have an hour, you have 60 minutes allocated for something on your calendar. Do you spend 60 minutes doing super high intent activity that is actually going to drive the business forward? Because what I've learned and what I think is so fascinating is that the vast majority of business leaders spend less than 1 hour a day doing high intent activities that will actually drive the business forward. Less than an hour. And then they're always confused about why their recurring revenue isn't growing. So if you are listening to this show today, whether you're a business leader, you're a business owner, you're an intrapreneur, you're an entrepreneur, and your business is not growing, your recurring revenue is not growing month over month, chances are you have fallen into a trap of obsessing over the wrong things. And obsessing over the wrong things can be done in the name of you doing a good job at your job. You can use the excuse of you're so disciplined and you have such a good attention to detail. You can use the storyline of, you need to get all these systems in place before you can execute the real thing to get the result. Lots of people cushion the reason why they're not executing in their own excellence. And they tell the story to themselves that it's their own excellence that's the reason why they can't execute with high intent. 1 hour a day focused on high impact activities interacting with the market in a meaningful way can move a company forward. How do I know this? Because I've done it. How do I know this? Because I've coached hundreds of people through this. How do I know this? Because I've built lots of teams in different companies, right? But you have to get out of your own way. And when we talk about obsessing over the wrong things versus focusing intently on the right ones, the focusing on the wrong things could be a lot of things. It could be you getting organized. It could be you planning. It could be you stuck for weeks on making a specific decision. It could be the storyline, I'm just not good at. I hear that from people all the time. I'm just not good at. And then that's the excuse why things are not being executed that need to be. And that's never the case. It's not, we're just not good at, right? We either apply ourselves or we don't. We either find the who for our how or we don't, right? We are the co-creator of all of our results and all of our outcomes all of the time, right? So obsessing over the wrong things can be the storyline that you tell yourself. It can be a lack of action for lots of different reasons. It could be a massive amount of action on things that don't matter because you feel incompetent or you feel nervous or you don't feel comfortable executing on the thing that really needs to happen, okay? And it's only when we raise our own self-awareness around these things that we're able to get out of our own way and make stuff happen, right? It's only in that self-awareness that we have to develop within ourselves, because there's only ever one person that's standing in the way of our growth, and it's always us. It's not the economy. It's not your team. It's not your boss. It's not your competitors. It's not your clients. It's not the business model. It's not anything outside of you. So the moment that you raise your awareness, the moment that you have a new understanding of your own behavior, the moment that you have a mindset shift around what you're doing to stand in your own way, you can do something different. Point of the show today. So obsessing over the wrong things can be looking at the likes on social media. It can be worrying about the number of follows that you're getting. It can be, any number of things, right? But the focus with intent starts with 1 hour a day of doing the things that truly move the needle. For most of you that are listening to the show today, it's relationships. And those relationships can be relationships with your team. They can be relationships with warm leads that you're working to close. And it can be relationship with strategic, collaborative, and referral partners. So those three relationships with the people that are the who to your how, with the people that are going to be the who to the how from the standpoint of revenue, right? So there's the who to your how from the standpoint of team. There's the who to your how from the standpoint of revenue. And there's the who to your how from the standpoint of the 6 degrees of separation to getting literally anything done, right? And so 1 hour a day focused on investing in relationships in some way, shape, or form is going to move the needle, right? If done with intent, with purpose, with passion, with investment, with understanding an outcome that you want. Most business owners don't spend an hour a day moving their people forward, whether it's the candidates that you have for job openings, whether it's the team members that you have for one-on-ones, whether it's the warm leads that you have that are in your pipeline getting ready to close, or people that you're introduced to but you never follow up on, right? That you could be building strategic collaboration partnerships with, and that could be part of your strategic network that could really make a difference in driving things forward, okay? So I want you to look at what that pivot point is for you, and how is it that you're going to come into the day, come into the week, come into each time block with a really dialed in state of readiness to execute. Because speed to execution will either make or break a company. Speed to execution will make or break a company. I see this with different leaders that I've hired, where when someone is too slow to execute, no matter how good they are, they're going to struggle, and or if they don't change that behavior, ultimately fail. Because if you cannot get out of your own way and take action quickly, the longer you take, the more that the result gets away from you and the less likely that it's going to happen, right? So I want you to think about speed to execution. I want you to think about readiness to execute in your time blocks. And I want you to think about control, right? Control over your own mental game, control over your own behavior. If you're the person that is still constantly moving things around on the calendar, constantly canceling calls, constantly changing and rearranging because you're not ready, because you didn't prepare, because you didn't, put your time in the right places to be in a state of readiness to execute, then, it's going to show. It's going to show in your results big time. So I want you to think about the 3 types of relationships. Actually, I expanded that to 4 because 1 is your current team. 2 is the people that are going to come into your team recruiting. I have a saying that I talk to my legacy leaders about, right, all the time. Always be recruiting. So candidates, current team, close to closing leads, and your strategic network. And those 4 relationships will absolutely change the game for you. And what's so interesting is these are none of the things that you see all the hype about online. These are none of the things that you're going to be pushed to on the day to day. They're not the things that are loud, screaming in your face. They're the quiet things that whisper that high intent leaders focus on that actually make a difference. Now, I want to remind you one more time while we are here having this conversation about the 4 types of relationships, the 5 types of relationships that if you spend an hour a day will really truly move the needle in your business. You will not be worried about algorithms. You will not be fearful of AI. You will not worry, stress, or struggle about 99% of the stuff that business owners worry and struggle about every single day if you focus on relationships. And this is why I'm so passionate about what we're building with the Advanced Network. My vision is that we are recreating the town square in every city, town, nook, and cranny around the globe, where business leaders of all walks of life build real relationships. They refer to each other. They introduce each other to key people. They help pass leads back and forth. They share ideas. They cross-pollinate industry trends. I am going to create the world's most powerful global network of leaders, disruptors, innovators that are going to work together, elevate together, collaborate together, and most importantly, innovate together to win in business. The Advanced Innovation Society is all about bringing back that local town square. Now, we can't do it without you. We can't do it without you because we have several locations stood up already. We want to continue to set up hundreds of new locations. Obviously, as people are joining, we need new people to come into our world that want to lead local locations, that want to be at the head of the table so that they, hold a seat at the podium and can be the person that everyone knows and everyone looks up to and, has the opportunity to set the tone of the conversation. We also need people around the table in each city and town. And we can't set up all the locations that we want to without amazing, incredible people that want to be a part of this dialogue. Now, in the meantime, as we set up all these locations all around the globe, we are obviously very active online. We have innovation circles and visibility exchanges and, referral marketing calls and, all sorts of things that are already happening inside the Advanced Network on top of the monthly sessions that take place in South Florida every single month that every single member is welcome to join. Our next in-person is December 8th, right here in Delray. We already have an incredible group coming together, and I hope to see you there. But if you've been looking for a strategic, high-end, and exclusive referral network where you can build relationships, where you can focus on these R's that we talked about today, these high-intent activities that are going to move the needle in your business, I want you to click the link down below, learn more about the Advanced Innovation Society, and book a call to see whether or not it's the right fit for you. So I know that this is going to become more and more important. The crazier and crazier the internet becomes, the more and more important that the currency of connection is going to become more and more valuable. The expansion of human consciousness is going to become more and more valuable. And the more insane this world gets online, and the more control and censorship that is exercised by people that may or may not have your best interests in mind, the more it's going to be important to be building at least a line of business or a income stream for your business offline through real relationships. So skip the line, get right down to business, come on over to the Advanced Innovation Society and be a part of our global network of industry leaders that are changing the game, raising the bar, and getting it done. I hope to see you there. Click the link down below this episode to learn more. And remember, stop obsessing over the wrong things and start focusing intently on the right ones, and you're going to see your business thrive.